Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing great, whether it be night or day, wherever you are. I am finally back, and if you're new, hi, welcome to the channel, and I'm so happy that you can join us today, since I am finally able to record again, as, if you haven't read from the community post, I wasn't able to record anything because I don't know if I just ran into a string of bad luck, but all of my software just wouldn't cooperate with me, whether it be from the recording software that I use to and edit my audios, or the one for my video. It just, everything just wouldn't cooperate, and I tried so many times, but everything just ended up the same. And I really couldn't record even if I wanted to, and I was so excited and still am for the mini-series that I will be starting. And for today, I wrote a Xiao ex-listener entitled So Please Stay, and as always, links for the music used in this video will be down below, and further announcements will be said after the video. I hope you guys enjoy. You paused humming as you stirred in a few more of the ingredients to the soup that you were currently preparing. You smiled as it seems that barbarous song had been quite stuck in your head for a while now. If only you can heal us instead, Paimon. You joked towards your floating companion, who was, safe to say, salivating at the scent that the soup produced. You could always teleport to a statue of the Seven if healing was all you needed, but after all, you two deserved a good meal, as for once, Paimon was even the one who had collected the radishes that you found in random crates at Dragonspine. Paimon's voice cut your thoughts as she asked if the soup was ready once more, which was probably for the nth time now. You rolled your eyes, but laughed at the quip nonetheless. In a minute. On another note, can you check the missions as of now, please? Upon request, she did so, and read across a list, sneakily pointing at the rewards and looking at the quickest and easiest. Wangshu Inn. Sounds like a plan. You replied, handing her a bowl as you finally finished cooking. Paimon thought before quipping if...
Oh, the one where an evil adeptI broods at? Are you sure you want to go there? Wait, we're going there?
You nearly choked on the soup as you tried to stifle in a laugh before speaking. Paimon, animo adeptI.
Well, Paimon remembers he hates cooking and eating, so he'd probably still send a confused glare your way upon seeing you eat.
You know, truth be told, he was still quite a mystery to you, albeit all the time that you two spent together. Well, at least he wasn't as tight-lipped as he used to be, nor moody when you two first met. In Xiao standards, at least. Well?
Traveler? Are you even listening to me?
Speaking of... You suddenly turned and looked in your bag in search of something. Mint? No, some sweet flower. Aha, there it was. Paimon finally took one last gulp and exhaled in contentment, expecting you to be ready to go as well, but found herself questioning when, instead of packing and putting stuff back in your bag, you seemed to be doing the exact opposite.
You know you're supposed to pack things when you're cleaning up, not put more mess out!
Well, we are going to the inn anyways, so... You trailed. It did take you two quite some time to find Xiao, once in the inn, but one of the locals finally told you his probable whereabouts, they might have taken pity on you running around. And you'd rather take that than aimlessly run around in circles again. And you know what? Lo and behold, upon climbing the tree that they had told you to its very top, there he was indeed, laying on one of its barks. Paimon was about to call out and complain of how hard it was to look for him, but you immediately caught her and wrapped a palm on her lips as to not disturb his seemingly peaceful slumber. It was a mystery how he hadn't noticed you two by now, as he usually was pretty agile. Paimon realized the cause of your caution and floated behind you instead.
I'm not going near that.
You couldn't help but shoot her a look, as if questioning her sudden fright when a few moments earlier she was so big on goofing around his being. To further prove so, she whispered something about running off to ask about the mission instead.
I'm heading off now! Bye-bye, traveler! Come out alive!
Oh, for realm's sake. Before you could even tell her otherwise, she was already nowhere in sight. Well, you weren't even going to make any attempts at stopping her anyways, because after all, hey, Paimon wanting to help out? Now that's something you wouldn't pass on any day. He laughed silently before walking a bit closer. The Adeptus had his eyes closed as if in deep thought or turmoil, but you couldn't help but admire the sight of him. It was a lot calmer than his usual scowl or remarks. Soon, you began to mirror his knotted brows, seeing a few scrapes here and there on his being. Did he go off and fight somewhere again? You were about to reach for his forehead, but stopped yourself. Even though it had been a while and you could say that you two were close friends, you still couldn't help but be wary of yourself. You two didn't have the warmest first meetings after all, but you knew that he would open up eventually, and realms were you delighted that you were proven correct. It hadn't even been long, especially after the incident with the Jade Palace and Oziel, that you noticed he began to frequent around you on a daily basis, walking by your side and even helping you with your battles and bounties. Although it was nice, you couldn't help but feel the occasional thought cross your mind that you were a burden somehow. Something forced to be dealt with. He had never explicitly said anything that would confirm such, but neither of the opposite. It was simply as he said. The bond between you two had been far too deep to be severed. Was your presence his curse, perhaps? You jolted upon feeling smooth fingers wrap around your wrist in haste, holding it there as it still hovered in second thought. Xiao then opened his eyes, turning to you.
You still have no respect for the adeptI.
He scoffed. You could only nervously chuckle at this as he then sat up and loosened his hold on you. I was only worried. Can I make up for it with this instead? I made some for you on the way over, but... You trailed, smiled, faltering slightly. He, of course, noticed the change in expression as he received the serving of almond tofu. It was only for a second before your liveliness was back, but it only took him that for him to realize something was off.
You seem... you are bothered by something.
Xiao spoke, although he seemed to not be looking at you, but rather his hands. You turned away once more and simply smiled, not noticing how he lifted them shakily before placing them back down and swatting his previous thought out of his mind. He could sneer at himself for even thinking such, as he was an adeptI and he... Oh, what was he saying? A few moments passed, but you still didn't speak, or rather, it had become quite instinctive for you to simply keep your peace, not saying anything after all. Xiao turned to you again, refusing the urge to just take a bite of the almond tofu that you had given him earlier. He might have not shown it as much, but he really did appreciate the fact that you had taken the time to make it for him, albeit his quite obvious hatred for such activities, or rather, he had appreciated that you did so, even if it had taken quite some time and tedious effort.
It would be foolish to think you can hide your mind's turmoil from me.
You snapped out of daze for the nth time that day and spoke in a babble. Turmoil? No, I'm fine. Just tired. And hey, speaking of tired, you paused, noticing his slight wince when he moved. Xiao, you went off and overworked your body again. You're putting yourself in pain. I should definitely go to Baiju and get something, right? There was a slight shakiness in your voice, and of course, Xiao caught it. You spoke with pain, not the kind of physical pain that he felt, and although it was unintentional, you still hoped that he wouldn't catch on and simply take your word for it. Which was, of course, by a long shot. This time, though, Xiao no longer had the thought of your gift in his mind, but rather had all of his attention focused on you. Look at him, giving a mortal this much of his time. But for some reason, he didn't seem to mind.
As I've told you before, mortal medicine has no effect on the adeptI.
Xiao said. Then I shall hoard his pharmacy till we find something somehow. Or maybe get food. Oh, wait, you don't like that. If only I could sing like Barbara and all. I already have the song stuck in my head. Wanna give it a try? Xiao took in a breath before finally placing a hand on your shoulder, giving it a gentle grip. He knew that you were trying to divert his attention, but he was not having any of it. He still averted his eyes from meeting yours though, but you knew that he was pushing his boundaries for even doing such action to begin with. The thought made you direct a smile towards him in hopes of giving reassurance. He took in another breath before finally looking at you, knowing your smile was anything but genuine. If there was anyone who could have seen straight through your mask, it was him. Truthfully, you too found yourself attached and worried for the Adeptus and how he constantly pushes his limits. You only wanted to be there to help him somehow, but you can't even do that much. You only wish that one day he'll let go of his spear and relax his muscles. Let time heal all his old wounds and and even calm his scars and his heart. One day, he will look at the sky and remember it, seeing it with less tears, noticing how beautiful it was and even allowing the sunlight's warm embrace. One day, he can accept a hug without flinching and allow for his walls to crumble. One day, he'll hold someone's hand without any fear and maybe even smile. You suddenly felt a drop of even more weight on your shoulders and saw Xiao's forehead on it.
Xiao? Do you feel sick? Are you...
Your panic was cut off when his other hand pulled your head down to rest atop of his.
Stop worrying about me too much, mortal.
He said. In all honesty, he really couldn't raise his head up for fear of you seeing his uncharacteristically flushed cheeks. His hand then trailed to your collar and held the butterfly amulet that he made out of leaves, smiling at the fact that you still wore it every single day, ever since your birthday. He sighed, knowing that there was so much that he wanted to tell you, so much that even he didn't quite understand. So much that's going on in his mind when you weren't around. And more so when you were. So much, and yet he knew that he found it hard to even utter the right ones towards you. He was worried, but even he knew that you were tearing his walls down, bit by bit, and he was gladly doing it with you.
Sorry, you probably wanted me to shut up. Sorry if I'm a burden again.
His brows nodded as he hurriedly looked up with a glare which seemed to have reinforced the thought in your mind. He sighed once more, seeing his action a mistake, but even if it seems that he couldn't do much right to show you how he felt, he wanted to make one thing clear.
You aren't a burden to me. And as I said, I will be here when you call. If you cannot do something, I'll be here. I'm willing to protect you. And besides, even if one would want to sever it, it is too late. Our connection is too strong, and truthfully, since I would like to know more about you, I'd rather keep it that way.
His look softened as he raised a shaky hand towards you as the other held you in place. Although it seemed unnecessary, he wasn't going to hurt you, and you knew that much as he tucked a strand of your hair behind your ear, telling you what you wanted to hear all this time.
Thank you for still being here. So, please, stay with me.
Xiao flinched in surprise when you gasped in glee at the sight.
Xiao was smiling. Do you have a fever?
You jokingly teased. He huffed out a breath as you chuckled and moved your arms warily. Will he move away? He looked at you slightly, sighing contentedly. To your surprise, he pulled you closer and wrapped his arms around you as well. You two would have shared a faint red glow for maybe a while if it weren't for the sound of the camera clicking behind you two as Paimon grinned to herself. She pulled down the device to grab the photo, only to yelp in surprise when she saw Xiao glaring before her.
Paimon?
You threatened.
Scary emo! Scary traveler! Paimon is gonna go now!
Okay, so that was it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this story. Now, bloops.
Thank you for still being here. So, please. Sorry.
Lying.
As I've told you before, mortal medicine has no effect on the adeptI. adeptI.
Especially after the incident after... What? Something forced to be dealt with.
If you cannot do something, I'll be here. I'm willing to protect you. And besides, even if one would want to sever it, it is too late to...
When you clasp?
Thank you.
Thank you for your purchase. Come again. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. Again, links will be in the description down below, and also my Discord tag in the about page of my YT, so feel free to DM me if you'd like to interact, because I'm mostly on there. And if you have any original stories or anything that you would like to submit that I can read, just link them down below, or maybe even favorite links, as long as I will be also given permissions. Or maybe you have requests for some characters or scenarios, just DM me or place it in the comments down below, and I would definitely love to read them, and hopefully when I get to write the request, also do them justice. Okay, that's really it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, stay hydrated, stay safe, bye!